You've probably been scrolling through endless specs pages, wondering if any of those numbers actually translate into a monitor that feels solid, stays out of your way, and actually improves the games you love to play. The truth is, most of us just want something that works right out of the box, looks great in the room, and doesn't drain our wallets for the sake of a longer feature list. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's skip the jargon and talk about what living with an LG 45-inch Ultragear OLED really feels like day to day, and why that matters before you hit buy. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have with a screen this large is the sheer footprint. A 45-inch panel, even with a sleek stand, will dominate any typical desk. If you're used to a 27-inch or 32-inch rectangle, you'll need to either clear a big portion of your work surface or consider a wall mount. The curve is steep 800R, so the sweet spot is right in front of you, about an arm's length away. Sit any further back and the immersion drops, but sit too close and you might feel the edges pulling you in. In practice, I found the ideal distance to be roughly 2,830 inches. It's a bit like a home theater seat rather than a traditional desk setup. If you have a dedicated gaming nook or a large office desk, the size becomes a benefit. If you're cramped in a bedroom, you'll constantly be fighting for space. Now, who actually benefits from a monitor of this magnitude? Serious PC gamers who crave a cinematic feel will love the curvature combined with OLED's perfect blacks. The panel can display true black levels because each pixel turns off on its own, and the DisplayHDR True Black 400 certification means you get decent peak brightness about 275 nits thanks to the micro-lens array while still preserving contrast. That makes dark FPS maps and atmospheric RPG scenes look stunning without the washed-out look you sometimes get on LCDs. If you also stream or edit video, the 4K WQHD resolution, 38402160, gives you plenty of screen real estate for multitasking without sacrificing clarity. On the flip side, the same OLED technology that delivers those deep blacks can be a drawback if you game in a bright living room. 275 nits isn't enough to fight direct sunlight or a well-lit kitchen, so you'll see a noticeable dip in HDR highlights compared to a high-end LED. For most dedicated gaming rooms with controlled lighting, it's fine, but if you plan to keep the monitor on a windowsill or use it as a TV replacement, you'll end up squinting or adjusting the room lights constantly. Also, OLED panels can suffer from image retention if you leave static UI elements like health bars or chat windows on the screen for hours on end. LG includes a pixel shift feature that helps, but the risk is still there, especially for those who marathon through raids or long strategy sessions. Performance-wise, the numbers are where the monitor really shines. The 240Hz refresh rate and an advertised 0.03 milliseconds response time mean motion blur is practically non-existent, and the motion feels buttery smooth even in fast-paced shooters. The G-Sync compatibility, officially validated by NVIDIA, and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro support, give you variable refresh flexibility regardless of which GPU you own. In real-world tests I've seen the monitor lock onto 144Hz with a mid-range RTX 3060 and jump to 240Hz when the frame rate spikes in less demanding titles. The caveat: to truly exploit 4K at 240Hz you need a top-tier graphics card, something in the RTX 4090 class. Most users will be playing at 144Hz or dropping to 1440p to stay smooth, which is still a massive upgrade over a 60Hz panel. The stand is surprisingly versatile. You can tilt, swivel, and adjust the height, which is essential given the monitor's weight and curve. I've been able to angle the screen just enough to reduce glare from my ceiling light while still keeping the curvature effective. The build feels solid, but you'll notice the base is larger than you'd expect for a monitor. It's more of a mini TV pedestal. If you plan to mount it, make sure you have a VESA-compatible arm that can handle the weight. The monitor is about 30 pounds, so a cheap wall mount might not cut it. Let's talk about daily usability beyond gaming. Because it's an OLED, the color accuracy out of the box is excellent, making it suitable for photo editing or watching movies. The HDR support isn't the brightest, but the contrast makes dark scenes pop. I've used it for a few Netflix nights, and the HDR10 content looks richer than on my old 1440p IPS. The built-in speakers are, however, modest just enough for system alerts. If you expect a full home theater audio experience, you'll need a separate sound system. Now, the price point. This isn't a budget monitor, it sits firmly in the premium tier. The value you're really paying for is the combination of OLED contrast, ultra-high refresh, and that immersive curve. If you're looking for a monitor that